The journey starts. We're on our way.
Close your eyes, hear the voice within, calling this heavy load.
Taking a train to Hamburg.
On a time, keeping your feelings.
Hello and welcome back to a new episode of Mama Pacific. This time you get to travel with my family and me by train to Scandinavia. So join me on this adventure.
Hey, come alive. Breathe in, breathe out. Look at the colors.
We just passed Karlsruhe, and it's fun. We have been there last year with the bikes, and we stayed opposite the railway station. It's funny. It's still a bit like surreal that we actually have done all that by bike and even further. So yeah, just a little snippet. I told the kids, they were not really impressed. I think that was enjoying. As I said, first class tickets, but it's still super busy. So I guess probably reserving a seat would be a smart idea next time. But we managed, we're fine. We have been on the road since 8 o'clock, or actually 7:30. Now it's 1 p.m.
Breathe in, breathe out. Look at the colors.
We get to Hamburg without any issues. It goes so much smoother than last spring when we also took the train to Hamburg before visiting Legoland in Billund and northern Denmark. If you haven't seen that episode, I will link it below.
You got the white knuckles holding on it tight, keeping your feels bottled up inside, heading for collision.
Morning from Hamburg. We're just leaving the hotel. Arrived here last night, but didn't do much after a long travel day we just had there, and it was raining heavily. Now we are continuing to Denmark. So we catch a train and I take you along.
Breathe in, breathe out. Hey, come alive. Breathe in, breathe out. Look at the colors around. Look at the colors around. Look at the colors around.
Today proves to be a more challenging travel day. The first train we take for 4 hours is boiling hot and packed. Then we have to change to a rail replacement bus service where, however, there are not enough buses to transport all the passengers. So we get stranded. We take a local train to the next village, catch a bus, there just in time before a torrential downpour soaks our fellow passengers. We then board another train, which finally takes us to sunny Copenhagen. stay in a cool hostel with a pool. In the evening we get to watch the Women's Euro Football Championship. The next morning we set off to explore Copenhagen. When we exit the metro station, we stand in front of an impressive church, the Marble Church, also known as Frederick's Church.
Change of guards. I'm not sure whether the king is official.
Warum bist du so kalt, Papi?
Amalienborg is the official residence for the Danish royal family, one of the oldest monarchies in the world. The guards march daily from Rosenborg Castle at 11:30 a.m. through the streets of Copenhagen and execute the changing of the guard in front of Amalienborg at noon. When the monarch is in residence, the King's Guard also march alongside the changing of the guard, accompanied by a band that plays traditionally military marches. We feel a bit sorry for the guards in their bearskin caps. Must be pretty toasty. The kids are wondering why the guards are shouting at each other as they are standing so close. And they ask me why there are only men and no women.
King apparently is not here, because if the king is here, music is playing. They didn't play music.
We continue exploring Copenhagen on foot along the waterfront where beautiful yachts are docked. A bit further ahead we spot the sculpture of the Little Mermaid, arguably one of Copenhagen's main tourist attractions. We mainly saw it because of the crowd gathering around it. According to my kids, it in fact is very small. The sculpture was a gift from Danish brewer Carl Jacobsen to the city of Copenhagen, and it was unveiled on 23rd August 1913. It is inspired by Hans Christian Andersen's famous fairy tale. The Little Mermaid has several times been the victim of vandalism. Twice she has lost her head, once the arm was sawn off, and several times she had paint poured over her. To be honest, the kids were more captivated by a seaplane taking off than the Little Mermaid. After a hot dog and ice cream break, we take the metro. We descend deep down into the station. Something we are not used to living in a mountain village, but we certainly enjoy navigating these different grounds. When ascending to the light once again, we found ourselves in the King's New Square. The square dates back to the 17th century and is home to prominent institutions such as the Royal Theatre, Hotel d'Angleterre and Kunsthal Charlottenburg. With a few steps, we reach Nyhavn, the old port of Copenhagen. As we stroll along the canal, we admire the colorful houses and soak in the relaxing atmosphere on this beautiful summer day. Danish fairy tale writer Hans Christian Andersen used to live in house number 20. This is where he wrote the fairy tales The Tinderbox, Little Klaus and Big Klaus, and The Princess and the Pea. He also lived for 20 years in house number 67 and for 2 years in number 18. For the way back to our hostel, we choose the wood taxi, which allows another perspective on the city's sights. The next morning we continue our trip. We bid farewell to our hostel and make our way to the railway station. We board the first train of the day, which takes us from Copenhagen to Malmö, meaning we are crossing into Sweden. Copenhagen to Stockholm. How was Copenhagen? What was the best thing?
Pool.
The pool. A bridge connects Denmark and Sweden. The announced border control does not happen, so we swiftly enter a new country. In Malmö, the kids indulged in a sweet treat, which brings up a lot of childhood memories for me. Shortly after, we hop on the train to Stockholm.
On the way to Stockholm. We have spacious seats and free coffee. Stockholm by train from Switzerland. Now we are searching for another little train to get us to the hotel. Let's see.
We check into our hotel, where we stay in one big room fitting the 5 of us. The triangle-shaped windows make a good backdrop for a photo session, especially during sunset.
Stockholm in our hotel on the 16th floor, and it's very high up. We get a nice view.
Time to explore the Swedish capital. We first stroll through the idyllic old town before heading to the castle. Welcome to the Royal Palace of Stockholm, which is His Majesty the King's official residence and the setting for most of the monarchy's official receptions. The Royal Palace is a combination of royal residence, workplace and cultural historical monument and is open all year round to visitors. The palace is built in Baroque style and has more than 600 rooms divided between 11 floors with a state apartment facing the city and smaller living rooms facing the inner courtyard. For us, it is round 2 of change of guards within a few days. Again, we are not alone. The kids decide to rate and compare the Danish and Swedish version. They compare the uniforms, the marching, the hats, the weapons, and so on. Let's say the scoring differs quite a bit among the kids, so we have no clear winner. What is clear, however, is that the Swedish version of the change of guards is a rather short affair. We then continue our stroll through Stockholm and end the day with a swim in one of the many lakes as it got really hot in the city center. With these impressions from Sweden's capital, I bid you farewell for this week. Thanks for tagging along. In the next episode, I take you to the countryside and we will take a ferry to hop over to Finland. Until then, have a great week.